So I'm going to take you on a little tour of Kazanchis, which is where I live in Addis Ababa. I had a pretty bad day because one of my cats has jumped from the second floor out of my balcony. So unfortunately, it looks like she's gone. And the other younger cat is a bit upset and she's been crying all day. We haven't been able to find her yet, but hopefully we do. Anyway, let's give you a tour of Kazanchis. So just walking out of my apartment now. Kazanchis is probably one of the business hubs in Addis Ababa. It's a big city. It's a really big city actually. This is the Grand Palace Hotel, which is opposite my apartment, and that's the balcony my cat jumped from. Hopefully she didn't commit suicide because she was a lovely cat. So just walking outside my apartment in Kazanchis, there's a lot that way, but I'm going this way. So these are all new builds here. Most of them are pretty much empty. These are posh apartments, really nice. I actually prefer my building. It's a bit older, but it has a bit more character rather than these modern builds, but still pretty cool. This is also pretty much empty. A lot of the buildings here are just very much empty. I think this is supposed to be an office block. Giz have moved here, which is the German Institute for something, German development. This is another big building. Big buildings everywhere in Addis. A lot of them empty, like I said. A lot of them being built. Not sure what this is, but we'll get to some interesting stuff in a minute. So these are currently being built. A lot of the buildings here take a long time to be finished for some reason. Not sure why. Some people say it's corruption. No comment. But you do find a lot of buildings in Addis that just remain like this. One being the new football stadium. Well, I say new. I've been in Addis for coming up to 8 years now, 7 years. And the football stadium is still a building site. I'm not sure why. This is I believe it's the United Nations immigration headquarters. Immigration to Ethiopia, I imagine. Always looks pretty empty. A lot of the buildings here often look empty. Immigration, UN immigration. There we go. It's usually very quiet in the evenings because we live, even though it's kind of the capital, it's the business capital or one of the business hubs, it's a bit like Canary Wharf. During the day it's packed and at night it's pretty much dead. Not many people around. Hopefully the quality of the video is okay. So just looking into the distance here, I believe this is the Park Hyatt Hotel, and this here is a big government building. Up here is the United Nations headquarters. A lot of people work there. In fact, one of my neighbours works there, a good mate of mine. He works in HR at the United Nations. Very dark at the moment, there's not many street lights. Probably best we go this way, because even though there's a lot down there, it's going to get pretty dark. Not sure what this building is. Looks like there's a clinic there. That's pretty much it. One of the things I like about living here is, in this particular area of Addis, is it's quiet. It really is quiet at night. During the day it's packed, but at night it gets a lot more quiet. And it's a big city. It's a really big city. I'm always amazed by how large it is. It goes on forever. I wouldn't say it's like London with all the boroughs, but it's big. It really is. I used to live outside the centre in a place called Safari Summit, and that must have been about 20 kilometers outside of Kazanchis, where we are now. And even then you could drive another 20 kilometers and you'd see more towns, more villages. So this is the Housing Corporation, Ethiopian Housing Corporation, Federal Housing Corporation. Not sure what they do. Federal Housing Corporation, big building. Always lots of wild dogs. Wherever you go in Addis, you see dogs, dogs, dogs. And they're trying to kill him. In fact, they've poisoned a lot of the dogs here, because I suppose they have no other choice really, because they are a bit of a pest. Even though I love dogs, if there's too many of them running around causing havoc, then you've got to get rid of them, I suppose. Continuing Housing Corporation. Big old building, that. Huge. They have two departments. Interesting. So this is the UN. Very high security. This is a company here with a big building. We Build. Never heard of them. But they've got a nice, really nice office block. This is the UN. Got to be careful here. Sometimes people are a bit weird about filming for some reason, not sure why. So just 2 minutes outside my apartment, and you can see there's lots going on. Lots of high rises. This is the UN car park. I'll take you somewhere a bit more interesting soon. Balderas, where I used to live, it's a lot more vibrant. Kazanchis reminds me of Canary Wharf. All business, all action during the day, and then not much at night. And in Kazanchis, the government have recently knocked everything with any character down. So although this area is very business orientated, there was cool stuff around. Bars, shops. It was a bit like a shanty town, but it was still cool. It was still vibrant. It still had culture. But the government decided they want it like Dubai for some reason. So none of that exists anymore. And I'm going to take you now to one of the areas that used to be packed with bars, people, lots of stuff going on. They've flattened it and they've just turned it into a big highway. So this is where I walk to work every day. 2 restaurants here, great pizza restaurant, another great Italian. This one's always packed. This one's always, well, pretty much empty, which is a shame because the food's great, but never mind. That's my walk to work every day, up that street to my office. This is the FedEx headquarters there. I don't use FedEx, I'm more of a DHL person, but both are good, apparently. Good Mexican restaurant here. Lots of restaurants in this area. Loads of restaurants to choose from. Mexican, Italian, Chinese. This is a really good carpenter. I bought a lot of my furniture from this dude. He's very talented. Makes some great stuff. And obviously, we're in Ethiopia, so at very good prices. I'm going to take you down to the section where it used to be super vibrant. Lots of bars, lots of shops, and now it's pretty much just a highway. And we'll show you that. Here we have a really good bar that's always packed with people, which is good. New shops here. New shops. Fit Zone footwear. It's not a great focus at the moment. This is my old apartment. I used to live here. Unfortunately, I was living right above a restaurant, so the noise was too much. So I moved to where I am now, which is very peaceful. So this is where they've literally knocked everything down. This goes for miles. The government have knocked down, I'd say, 90% of Kazantzakis. We have these huge highways, whereas before this was all a lot more rough and ready, might you say? You know, rough and ready. A lot more people. Not this kind of perfect Dubai-looking kind of vibe. Which I suppose, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they're going to do, you know? So this is one of the main roads, and a lot of Kazantzakis has become literally just like this. Not sure what this is, pretty much empty. Well, I'm not sure if it is empty, but I'm not sure what's in there. This is one of the many kind of shopping malls that you find here. That used to be a great restaurant. It was shut down recently. They did really good healthy food. Yeah, not much going on there now. This is like a shopping mall, and there's another 3 that way. And yeah, there's a few businesses in there, auditors, travel agents. You find a lot of people, a lot of stationers. One of the buildings that's just been put together is literally all stationers, and I'm like, how many stationers do you need? So guard. All the guards have guns here. Big guns. In fact, every bank pretty much has 2 guards outside holding huge AK-47s or whatever you call it. This is the backside of the Intercontinental, I believe. And here, more dogs. Here is another huge shopping centre. You can get some really nice cheap food in there. And there's a pharmacy. As you can imagine, lots of stationers, clothes shops. This is cool. I like this place. So now we're coming up to the place where it used to be kind of vibrant, you know what I'm saying? It used to be a lot more culture. They've put a really nice garden here. You can have a walk through that, walk through the garden. Another shopping centre, barbers, stationers, a few shops selling flowers and things like that. It's amazing how quickly they built this. I have to say, it's taken about 2 weeks to build this highway. I mean, they're not messing around. And here's the park that they've just built. Before, this was a bakery and a few other things. Bakery, just a few kind of shanty townish things, but now it's, well, it's beautiful. Flowers, lights. I mean, they're really putting in the effort to make it, like I say, a bit like Dubai. But in my opinion, they're going to have to get the business side of things sorted, because ease of doing business here is not great. I think they're 159th out of 190 companies on the ease of doing business scale. So, and trust me, I'm at the front line, so I know what it's like, and it's not easy. So if they can improve that and make it like an attractive place for businesses, then great. But right now it's difficult. No more comments. So, you know, like I said, everything has become a building site in Kazantzis. Everything. 24 hours. 24-hour construction. This was where the bakery was, I believe. A brilliant bakery. You can't buy bread in Addis anymore, but not in Kazantzis. Like I say, Addis is a big place. Kazantzis, where we are now, where I live, is a kind of city within a city. You can't buy bread. And I'm not a fan of injera, so just kind of get by without eating bread. Which is the first for me. This guy's chasing me. No, I'm just going to ignore him. This guy's getting pretty aggressive with me. Okay. This guy's getting aggressive. So he's following me because he has nothing better to do by the looks of it. People get very touchy about filming here. Listen to him. If he touches me, it's going to get messy. So now we're walking out of the park. This dickhead is still following me. He's losing his mind. Okay, so now we're out of the park. And I got rid of that fucking dickhead. Now we're walking back towards the building sites, where I say, like, this is where it used to be really, vibrant. Everything now. It's a building site. Hopefully I can take you on some trips outside of Kazantzis, because Kazantzis now has become pretty boring, to be honest with you. As far as the eye can see, building sites. Whereas before, this was all lots of stuff going on, a lot more interesting. Behind building sites behind there, building sites, but it's a good thing, you know. I mean, however much the culture and the vibrance and all that kind of thing is fun, I suppose they've got to think about business, they've got to think about building up the brand of the country and making it more modern, which is what they're doing. I just hope they improve ease of business, because that's difficult. So I'm going to take you back to my apartment, and this will have been our tour of a very tiny part of Kazantzakis, which is a very tiny part of Addis, which is a very tiny part of Ethiopia. It's a big country. In fact, I was doing some research the other day, and apparently you can fit 5 entire United Kingdoms into Ethiopia, so it's pretty big. This is my office. This is where I've been for the last good few years. My office is on the 2nd floor, so I'm up there. And then back down to my apartment. This is my office block. I'm good mates with the manager of that building, who's very involved with the real estate side of it. He's got buildings all over town. He's a cool guy. Pretty chilled. So not much more to see. We can walk past the UN building. This is where I spend 98.9% of my time. That building, this road, and that apartment. So I really need to get out more. I've been a bit of a hermit for the past few years, just concentrating on work. This is the Irish embassy down there. Good shops, everything you need. New apartment block. Lots of free apartments in there. Really nice. This is GIZ, German Institute for Development or something like that. GIZ. It's definitely German. This is the new grocer, Daily Sub, and they do some great food. Well, it's all fresh food, and you have to admire these companies who work with fast-moving consumer goods. It's a great business. I hope they do well, because they put so much effort into it, and the food is always fresh. I like them a lot. I like that business. This whole block used to be another big business. Look at that, it's huge. I'm not sure what that business does. I think it's also fast-moving consumer goods. This is where my barber hairdresser is. And the building's recently just been packed with more stationers. So clearly stationers are in demand. But how many stationers do you need? I don't know. I imagine those are apartments. And this is a huge new build. There's a new law in this area that every building must be lit up. which I suppose is cool because it makes the area look a lot nicer when the buildings are lit up. But every building must be lit up. It's literally a law. Down there, restaurants, bars. You don't see many foreigners though, which is a shame because there should be more. This is the UN entrance. Don't want to film too much because they get pretty touchy. That's where my next door neighbour works, one of my best mates actually in Addis. Big building, huge. And we're back to pretty much where we started. So that's my 25-minute tour of the area I live in. There's a lot more, as you can imagine, a lot more. But there you have it. So just giving you an idea about where I live, what's going on around, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.